Your diesel engine relies on a perfect balance of pressure to run, but what happens when the system meant to feed your injection pump suddenly decides to over-deliver, potentially blowing seals and ruining your day? That is exactly what we are dealing with today. If you have plugged in your OBD2 scanner and pull the code P008B, your truck is telling you that the low-pressure fuel system pressure is too high. This generic code usually applies to modern diesel vehicles like the Ford Powerstroke, Dodge Cummins, or even some Hyundai model. To understand this, you need to know that your diesel fuel system has two sides. There's the high-pressure side that handles the actual injection into the cylinders, and there's the low-pressure side, often called the lift pump system, which brings fuel from the tank up to the engine. Even though the high-pressure pump does the heavy lifting, it needs a steady, regulated supply of fuel. When the engine control module, or ECM, sees that the pressure on the supply side is spiking higher than the manufacturer specifications, it triggers this code. This matters because high pressure in a low-pressure line can blow out gaskets, rupture lines, or damage the fuel filter housing. The severity here is moderate to high. If you drive this truck daily, you need to address it because you're stressing components that were not built for that kind of pressure. You might notice symptoms like a sudden loss of power or the vehicle entering a forced limited power mode, which is the computer trying to save the engine from damage. You might also see decreased fuel economy, hear strange noises from the fuel pump area, or even see black smoke on startup. So what causes this? In the United States, fuel quality can vary, and dirty fuel is a major culprit. A clogged return line or a blocked fuel filter can cause pressure to back up in the system because the fuel has nowhere to go. It could also be a defective fuel pressure regulator or a failing low-pressure pump. To fix this, start with a visual inspection. Look for any fuel leaks on the frame rail where the lift pump and filters are usually located. If you see rusted lines or wet spots, that is your first clue. Next, check your fuel filters. If they look old or haven't been changed in 20,000 miles, replace them immediately. A clogged filter can weirdly cause pressure spikes in different parts of the system depending on where the sensor is located. If the filters are clean, you need to inspect the fuel lines for kinks, especially the return lines that send unused fuel back to the tank. If that return path is blocked, pressure builds up fast. Finally, if you are comfortable, check the fuel injector return lines under the hood. If you've done these checks and replaced the filters but the code persists, or if you smell raw diesel inside the cab, it is time to take it to a professional diesel mechanic who can hook up a mechanical pressure gauge to verify the sensor reading. Don't ignore this one, or a simple sensor issue could turn into a massive fuel spill. Stay safe on the road.